cradle of civilization, Union still seeks to unite the human diaspora. But now, an edict, long since forgotten, can be heard again, scream from beyond the stars. Will humanity hear? Will we understand? For now, only one thing is certain. Our Lancers will respond when the Starcriers fly.
Hello and welcome to RPGs Uncovered. We're back for another episode of the Starcrier Conflict. It's going to be a fun episode today. It's pretty much the start of a new chapter. You might consider last session the start of a new chapter, but that's still kind of a transitionary phase. Our Lancers are coming into the system, the new star system, where they're going to be hanging out for a bit. And we've already had the main briefing, but we're going to get to a rebriefing because it's been 7 years. And I'm getting ahead of myself in the recap already. But before we get on with that, let's normal opening announcements. I like to keep these short and sweet. If you are watching here on Twitch live with us, hello, thank you for joining us. Go invite some friends. Go tell people about us, bring new people on into the show, and say hi, drop some heart tomatoes or some tactical blimps, whatever you might enjoy in our chat. And if you are here on Twitch, you can scroll down, head over to the About tab, and check out the Mayhem meter. That sends you to a little collection page, and that is the best way I can think of trying to bring in some funds to give back to these wonderful people over here who are with me, because they give me so many wonderful gifts throughout the week. Planning for new stories and planning for new character development arcs, and of course during the game with roleplay and shenanigans, and always keeping me on my toes. So if you enjoyed the show, if you enjoy these wonderful people and have the means to support, that's the best way to go and support. Other than that, we do have a Ko-Fi, has a whole bunch of cool stuff on it. We had a really, really fun after show last week, sort of an extended after show because we had a lot to cover. It was a blast of a time, a lot of great behind the scenes content, and I got even more stuff coming up once I start dropping things for this new chapter arc that are going to be going up. Character dossiers and mission briefings, and I've basically designed an entire solar system, so I'm going to throw that up there once we explore it. So you can find that over at Ko-Fi/RPGs Uncovered. Easy enough to find. I think there's something you can click down there. All right. With that, follow us on socials, click all the buttons that do happy things and make fun sounds. And let us now welcome our cast for another episode. Hello, cast.
Hello, Jack. Hi, everybody. I'm Sean. He, him. Tonight I am playing August Solitaire Walker, also he, him, and I now really, really want a tactical blimp. Like, can I put that into my pilot gear? I mean, come on. That's
Yeah.
I think that's more of a reserve.
Can I just...
God damn.
Damn it. That's fine. I still don't know exactly how reserve works. I'll figure that out eventually. Anyways, hi!
I was going to say, you make it your personalization.
There you go.
Oh!
Your mech is just a tactical.
Hey, Hattie, hi. Could you imagine how cool that would be? Just for a kid in this, like, bodysuit, just... But anyways. I know, right? That totally makes sense. Anyways, hey, Hattie, hi. My name is Haley. They, them. I will be playing Siobhan Carey. She, they, today. I'm so sorry. The coffee went zoomy, not focus. And I'm rattling a little bit. Anyways, this is going to be a great day. It's going to be a day.
It's my turn. Hello, hi. I'm Q, he, him. I'm playing Mr. Logan Uhura, the recently married, also he, him. Also, fun fact, Quentin has had tactical blimp. Cyber rats, baby.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
Uh-huh.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Intermission, call sign Blacksmith, also uses he, him pronouns. I will say I cannot get the image of Shiv just like tying like balloons to themselves and just like floating over a battlefield with like knives in hand. I don't know why. It's just the mood I'm getting here.
Well,
That's
now
our
I have to make
tactical
art. I'll be right back.
or just a really big puffy jacket. Just
That
like
too,
a really big
yeah.
puffy jacket. Yeah.
Did you actually introduce yourself?
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me? Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was
started
wedged
with
in
that.
there.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
and then it just
I
immediately
just I
pivoted into
breezed
the
through it
cooler
is the
thing.
thing because I like that's just where my brain went.
Yeah.
It was more important to talk about Shiv strapped to balloons
Yeah.
a la
Yeah.
up. So
Facts.
I mean, I get that.
Hey, y'all, it's Drake Lionheart. Most people call me Lion. I use they, he pronouns. And tonight, I will be John Tavik Creighton Vasir Harrison IV, call sign Starblood, piloting Ascendant, who uses he, him, they, them pronouns, and is our wonderful sad boy.
You know, the direction that you put those words in, it sounded like the mech uses he, him pronouns.
We'll have to ask Ascendant.
Yeah.
oh okay.
Actually,
Ascendant-
okay, to be fair, Ascendant doesn't have an NHP yet. We need a couple more license levels before we get to that, but we'll get there.
If any of our mechs is going to have like a problem with pronouns, it's Buddy.
That's true.
Let's be real. Eldritch Abomination mech.
Oh yeah, that thing has opinions. Yeah.
For sure. And a lot of them.
Hello, folks. I'm Jack. I'm up here doing the GM thing. I play everybody else, and we are definitely not using any of this intro for the podcast. I'm going to have to use the previous episodes for it because we are all over the place. But it's great. I love it. We are all friends. We all have so much fun. And now I get to quash all that and traumatize these people some more. Actually, today shouldn't be too terribly problematic. We'll be getting into some more. We'll get into it. I don't
Give us
think
10
there's
minutes.
really
I said, give us 10 minutes, we'll find a way.
yeah, I'm sure. Actually, no, that's probably a lie. Never mind. Anyway. Yeah, shouldn't really need any sort of content warnings or anything today, but just general reminder, I don't say it enough. We are playing our characters. So judge our characters and not us, especially me, playing the GM, and villains and other nasty, sleazy people. So with that, I think let's talk about where we are in the Starcrier conflict. Our Lancers are embarking on a brand new chapter. After a considerable amount of time back on Far Station 12, getting some nice slice of life in, they were there for several months, if not a year or so. They've had time to live and develop a home life, really, whatever that may mean for individuals. Rekindle relationships, enhance relationships, sometimes lose relationships. We've seen a lot of character development in the past few episodes, but now it is time to stick them in stasis and shoot them off for a 7-year nap. And that is pretty much where we are picking up today with their new mission, securing Iniko 4. They are being, or I should say, they were launched to the Iniko system. One of the nearby secondary worlds off at another gate system. So they first had to travel from Far Station 12 to their nearby gate, pop out of a gate over somewhere else. They're not even really sure exactly where in the galaxy, in the Orion arm that they are, and then travel another 5 years out to a secondary world. And they are one of really countless teams who are doing similar jobs throughout the entire sort of general bulbular sphere that is Union space, because space is three-dimensional. And this is all because their previous mission, they, well, made first contact with what we know to be a Starcrier. A baby Starcrier, mind you, but a Starcrier. However, that word has only come up once in this campaign so far, on a little manila envelope tucked inside Commander Leary's desk. So we'll see how that develops. As for them, they've been told that they are securing this system against a potential unknown hostile threat. And that is the story they are to stick to. But their job is to help administer the fortification of this star system, whatever that may mean, alongside, of course, local forces and other Union representatives, and also the Hawkwood Company. A diasporan sort of privateer micro-corporation group that they previously had a rather rocky start with. In their first mission, their first deployment, they were fighting against the Hawkwood Company. You can go back and watch that. But since then, they've brought a lot of new information about what may be happening out in the diaspora, what's coming into Union space, and are capable of providing a lot of personnel and military hardware. Stuff that Union drastically lacks because of the demilitarization after SETCOM. So, let us jump into today's episode of the Starcrier Conflict with all that in mind. And we will pick up pretty much where we left off last week with our transport ship slowly getting larger and larger as it quickly decelerates out of near light speed, throwing itself through the Iniko star system. We can see a rather large, main sequence yellow star and several planets. A big gas giant towards the back, another, of course, much smaller rocky planets, and an asteroid belt. But we are still relatively on the edge of this system. You definitely want to make sure you are decelerating out of near light speed by the time you start getting into, planetary gravity wells and asteroids and whatnot. But this gives our Lancers and everybody else on the ship time to get out of stasis, reacclimate themselves, do all the things that living bodies need to do, and then consider what they are going to be doing in this system. Starting with a rebriefing, we will say. So previously our Lancers got out of their stasis pods, had time to walk around, stretch their legs, get some exercise, go to the cafeteria, do all those, as I said, living body things you need to do. But we're going to pick up today in a room that should be well familiar with our Lancers at this point, the briefing room of this transport ship. Right now, it is just U5 and the other three of the B team, as we've been calling them. Lisbeth Asmalaki, along with Mac McRow, who is Hotjaw, and Malcolm Kazir, who is Lich. It is just the 8 of you in the room. And this is a relatively, I don't want to say dimly lit, but sort of tactically lit. It has that sort of dim blue light about the place to help highlight the hologram projection that is about to pop up. But there's sort of rows of almost like student academic building seating there that you can sit down in. Number of tablets set up, workstations along the desks in front of those benches. And of course, in front, there is a small podium, a large screen, and a holo projector. And as you all gather inside this briefing room, the familiar image of Commander Ronica Leary is digitally assembled, holographically assembled in front of you. And you might not immediately put it together, but then you do. And it's always a bit of a surprise to see that even after all of the travel time that it takes, and this is not your first long distance, long sleep period going on a new mission to some far off world, but Commander Leary never really seems to get all that much older. Maybe a little bit here or there, though it's hard to tell on a holo image. Maybe a little bit. But we see Commander Leary standing straight-backed in her vaguely military-style yet administrative uniform, as opposed to a Navy uniform. Sort of high collar, that standard GMS Union light gray, accents of black and darker grays, and her long black hair, again, done up in that sort of executive power bun that she likes to wear. Lancers, good morning. I hope you all had a relatively pleasant stasis period, though I've been in enough to know that that really doesn't mean much. I should say I hope you are reacclimating well. Fortunately, this is not nearly as dire of a situation as we've sent you in before. You should not need to act with as much haste or as much, let's say, immediate tactical attention. So we can ease you in. However, she does shake her head, and there's a brief sort of crack in that almost statuesque composure that she usually has. Shakes her head a little bit. I do unfortunately have to begin this rebriefing, as usual, but perhaps with more severity this time. Changes, deteriorations, since you left. I'll actually pause here and let you guys know, players know, that you can head over to our journal tab, and there is a new journal which you should all have access to. Let me double check ownership. Observer, there we go. You should all have access to Sortie Securing Iniko. You can bring that up. First page is briefing details, which I'm about to go over, and well, we'll get into the other stuff in just a bit. But you can pull that up if you want to follow along. Well, I will simply get into it then. An update to what you were previously told about this mission, about this situation. Unfortunately, the situation along Union's Rim and its outer member worlds has deteriorated during your travel time. As I said before, you are one of many, many teams being sent off to do much the same job on many secondary RimWorld planets, securing our border, as it is. Unfortunately, some teams which have arrived on site before yours have reported, for lack of a better word, attacks prior to their arrival, or have since gone dark. There is evidence that these attacks follow a similar pattern to Diasporan reports. These incidents are not many, but they are widespread. She pauses for a moment to let that sink in. She raises her fingers and makes as much eye contact as a hologram can. The number of potential hostiles is currently unknown, though the theater of engagement is quite wide, and attacks appear to come out of nowhere. The situation in the Iniko system is likewise deteriorating. though there is no evidence of hostile encounters. Growing tensions, fueled by rumors of diasporan and other RimWorld attacks, have instigated the formation of a number of vaguely political factions who are arguing over what to do and how to proceed. This was, of course, further sparked by the arrival of the Hawkwood Company's Provisional Defense Coordinator, who arrived about a year and a half prior to your arrival now. From what I understand, and reports are still coming through, from what I understand, life on Iniko 4 is still very stable, very steady, but there is... well, we can see the cracks, and we don't like how they are spreading. We are hoping that you will be able to not only aid in the defensive fortification of this system, whatever you feel best with your experience, but also, to the best of your abilities, aid in actually administering this system and helping to, ideally, maintain political trajectory in line with Union. We don't want to see this planet and its people regress. Other than that, I can't say much more. You will have to do your own information gathering now that you're in system. As I said, this is one of many such operations, and I don't have minute details on each of them. So, do what you feel is best. You will have OmniNet access. You should retain OmniNet access, so you can call back to myself in the station, should you need it. Though, again, I will caution, you are one of very many teams I and other commanders and officers are already overseeing. So there's only so much I will be able to provide. I also want to reiterate that Protocol WXC-87U is still in effect. Under no circumstances, are you to divulge, describe, or in any way allude to your experiences, observations, or encounters during your previous mission to the Farscape Observatory Array. Any suggestions or defensive actions taken should broadly reflect and be contextualized as potential unidentified hostile forces. Failure to comply could jeopardize the safety of this entire operation. She sort of, again, best she can, maintains that steely eye contact or a pause, making sure that sits. Now, as I said, I don't have much more up-to-date information than this, but if there are any clarifications you would like, now is the time.
Yeah, does that include our fellow Lancers?
Hajiri, Hajjal, and Lich have been apprised of what they need to know. Otherwise, mobile infantry and other Navy personnel, the protocol remains.
Okay.
That they need
About
to
with-
know. What were they given?
I'm sorry, the OmniNet can't seem to process both of your voices at the same time.
Go ahead, Shiv.
What all were they told?
They were
What were
told,
they? What did they need to know?
you are going to find this answer frustrating, but they were told what they need to know.
Ah. Fine.
Again, I am just as much adherent to this protocol. And I will remind you, do not divulge, describe, or in any way allude to. That includes myself in this current situation.
Commander, just out of curiosity, when it comes to these other main factions that have been starting to spring up, do they have any kind of demands or asks that they've been putting to Union?
A small dossier, I believe, is being put together. It should be available upon your arrival. You can do your own investigations, communications, recon, as you see fit.
Okay.
As I said, I can't keep track of political fracturing on 100 such different planets.
Totally understandable. Just didn't know if we had any kind of starting points with these different factions. Follow up in that case is in regards to aid that they are looking for. If we are trying to make sure that things don't deteriorate more, what access do we have as Lancers to be able to promise or help with?
If everything in the greater galactic administration that is Union proceeds as the status quo, they should have access to what they have had access to. Whatever contracts they have with other corporations for the shipment of supplies, materials, other goods should remain. As far as I am aware, there should not be any disruption to any transport lines, any supply lines. Other than that, communication should, ideally, remain intact. They should assume the status quo. It is your job to assume that there will be problems to the status quo and find workarounds. I will say it is very unlikely that you will be able to promise any additional supplies, at least not within a timely manner. You are at least 5 years out from any supplies that you currently request. And again, one of 100 or such different worlds I'm covering, and 100 or such other commanders who are covering just as much. They have what they have for now.
I
Commander.
think Logan, I think Logan, in Logan fashion, is going to go. I think he's gonna go see about his mech.
Oh, you're just gonna get up and leave?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, it's feeling very. Yeah,
Sure.
he's gonna go.
Yeah,
I
you
think
guys.
I think very closely on his heels, Tavik does the same. After very pointedly being very quiet this entire time.
Okay. The hologram that is Commander Leary does watch as you two leave, but as we've established, you guys are not Navy officers. You don't need to be dismissed. She usually doesn't bother, so when you think you're done, you can go. But she does follow you on the way out, and then turn back to the other...
Six?
Yeah, the other six. Yeah, everybody else will stay. I was questioning whether Lich or Hotjaw would leave, but I don't think so.
Commander, as far as the Hawkwood Company goes, have they been forthcoming with any kind of data or anything that they have collected over time in regards to any of this?
Very much so.
And is that something that I might be able to have access to?
Not as much as you would like.
I have some ideas, and any information they can have as far as technical readings and that sort of thing goes, I think could be invaluable.
Are you looking for anything in particular?
Mostly environmental information concerning... God damn it. Hate not just being able to talk. Transportation methods. Changes in environment, in radiation levels, anything of that nature that might coincide.
I believe I am understanding what you are alluding to. Information on that regard is still very sparse.
Sure.
As I believe the Commodore had told you before, there is still a lot of unknowns to what is going out in the diaspora. They simply know that something very dangerous and very destructive is happening out there, causing them to flee inwards. So they don't have much in the way of scientific or tactical data because not enough has survived whatever contact with whatever may be happening.
And I understand all of that, and that's perfectly fine. I get that, but any small thing could be invaluable. You never know what little bit of information can lead to a far greater or more useful discovery.
More research is currently being looked into. Unfortunately, I'm not sure anything will bear fruit immediately. I will put together what I can and pass it along, though I am certain it will not satisfy. One, because we are simply dealing with a lack of information, and two, because the transmission of that information is problematic.
I can't imagine there's a whole lot, period, out of this that's going to be satisfactory, Commander.
I am working on rectifying that. Perhaps when you return from this operation.
Alrighty.
As for now,
Well.
I will remind the remainder of you that your primary objective is to aid in preparing the planet and the system in defense of as many potential extrasolar dangers as possible. Cast a wide net, not only for reasons already stated, but because we don't know. We don't know. There is nothing else. I have several more of these to do.
Understood. Thanks, Commander.
Good luck.
We'll
Stay safe.
Talk to you when we talk to you then.
Several years from now, I'm sure. And hologram just fades out. And the six of you are left in the room. Hotjaw sort of leans back, stretches, and does that sort of, "Whooey, we're doing this again."
Every time we turn around.
I will begin looking in on, this is Lich, I will begin looking in on sensor data, communications, logs. I'll be at a terminal if you need me.
Slitch, if you come across anything, I'm hoping to try to set up some kind of early warning system of some kind. I don't know what kind of systems they got here yet, but if you've come across anything interesting that might be helpful in that regard, I'd appreciate, throwing a heads up towards me.
I will look into it.
Appreciate it, buddy.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go join Logan and Tavik. I need to work on Striker a little bit. Hey, Shiv, don't hack the planet this time.
Did you notice how I didn't follow Lich? I'm not gonna do that right now. Crazy.
It's just gonna give you like a little, just a little good-natured nudge.
Yeah. Fully tries to hip check you into an infinity.
So, question: considering Havoc and Logan left a couple of minutes before the end of this conversation, is it possible for Havoc to catch up to Logan in the hallway?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think he's only a couple of steps behind you, really. He walked out after you. I think as he sort of falls into stride beside you, there's a moment of sort of silence before he then goes. Do you feel as though your time is being wasted as much as mine is?
Every single time.
There is a choice being made here to obscure information to such an extent that it leaves us with very little to work with.
Right. And we don't know what information was shared with the people that we are going to be working closely with.
All right. And I imagine if we took the time to ask for verification on what the Hawkwood Company knows and has shared, we would likely get the same response.
Right. So I think I'd rather just spend my time doing other things. Like working on my mech or my husband. You know? So, and plus we're not Navy. So
Yes, that is very true. And yet we still get tied up in all of the red tape.
right, that's what it is. We have all of the bureaucracy, but none of the actual status or prestige or really anything. And
At least with
Or
the
like-
armory, there would be active attempts to grind the gears at every level to figure out what this threat really is and the best way to go about dealing with it.
right. And we are just sort of on the sideline, sort of doing our work and hoping that it's not that bad, but expecting it to be.
Well, the core purpose of the auxiliary lancers is to be expendable, no? We are the best of the best for as long as we survive.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna make sure that
The lights go dark. It is pitch black. There is no sound. For everyone.
immediately gun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A few
Havoc is
Activating the
very
data plating and see if I
uncomfortable.
can't.
A few very uncomfortable beats before the dull amber lighting of emergency power turns on and alarms start to blare.
What the
Emergency.
fuck?
Emergency main power shut down. Systems dark. All controls inactive. Running on secondary power and maneuvering thrusters only. All personnel to stations. Lancers, get ready for potential immediate deployment. Repeat, emergency. All stations down. We are on approach to the asteroid belt. All stations
shit.
manned immediately. Lancers, prepare for potential deployment.
I'll be right there.
Looking towards the hangar. Hey, sound off. Everybody all right out there?
You guys don't have communications.
Oh,
Shit.
Well,
what
I'm
was the
still
point
with.
of me installing GPS?
I'm still with August and Shiv, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys, let's double time it. Let's go.
Meanwhile, on the other side, Tavik sort of nods at what Logan says and goes, I'll see you over there. And is
Yeah.
going to draw their weapon and proceed to make their way towards.
All right. It is
This
a
one?
flurry of activity in the hallways. Yourselves, as well as the other three, are booking it down to the mech hangar, as what personnel are on this transport are running from stasis, are running from the cafeteria, are running from their quarters and whatnot, moving as quickly as possible to get to stations, because as far as you know, you have no sensors, you have no engines, you are hurtling blind at still very, very, very high speeds into an asteroid belt and whatever may be before, within, or beyond. You all meet up in the mech hangars, and there might be some quick shouting to each other, but you need to get in those as quickly as possible and be prepared to deploy, because if this ship doesn't have engines, doesn't have weapons, you guys might be on asteroid clearance duty. And that's even assuming there's no hostiles outside or whatever may have occurred for a ship-of-the-line transport to lose power like this, to lose all functionality.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, would we have any like chance to grab like any last second like pilot gear before we load up? Like if it's available in the hangar?
You have what I assume sort of right next to everyone's mech. There's sort of like a locker that has, you know, your suit, your helmet, you know, whatever weapons you have, whatever you would have, you know, as your pilot loadout should be accessible there. But at this point, you cannot change what that loadout is.
Okay, that was going to be my question because I had one thing I wanted to change just in case, but we will make do with what we got.
No time. You guys hop into your brand new mechs at this point. Probably most notably new for Siobhan here. Unlike before, where you had to get on a lift and, you know, climb yourself into a cockpit, you're basically, you know, just stepping inside a hard suit. Stepping inside a loader mech.
I'm basically just thinking of like Iron Man 1, like that suit up sequence where he just like steps in and just like latches on.
Shiv is so excited to not have. I feel like because like the platform goes up where you're supposed to be in your mech, and like Shiv also needed a little step stool, like a little extra step to get up and in. Don't need that no
like
more.
one of those little mini ladders, the little like 3-step ladders.
Yeah.
The goblin is already small by design, but I imagine this is still small for a goblin.
Yeah. Incredible.
And you guys sit there in the cockpits of your mechs. Emergency power, alarms still blaring in the hangar. In this very eerie silence, you don't notice how loud living in space actually is. The hum of power as it moves through the conduits of the ship, the vibrations of the engine, the roar from propulsion. It is silent. It's eerie being out in this now pretty much tin can hurtling through the void.
It's very specific phrasing. I would have been running a little late. Making sure that Morgan's okay first. Or at the very least, like, probably put him on a station. He knows, you know, naval ships at least.
Okay. You can. There is a flurry of quick communication. You all right? I'm all right. You all right? I'm all right. Do you know what's going on? No. Is basically all it is, and you can quickly sort of, you know, motion him over to just sort of a support console, auxiliary console, just to monitor the situation as much as possible. Before I assume you spin on your heel and dash off towards your mech.
Yep.
And then you're left sitting there.
I'm gonna like do a couple quick taps. I have like a speaker system and everything like that, so I'm gonna kind of like open my cockpit up so squad can hear me. Real bad time to say that if we're having to go out there and take care of asteroids, I'm not built for that.
What do you mean?
Should give me a scan, real quick.
Okay, can I scan him?
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's just one of those kids. You'll notice that all of my stuff is for being point blank.
Oh my god.
I have 0 range capabilities.
Are you gonna punch a rock to death? Is that the goal?
I heard that there was a legendary Lancer. I think it was like Redfield or something like that. He did that once.
Did he?
Yeah. I don't know how
You
it
know,
works
Goddamn
for him,
myth, and you
but-
know it.
Huh?
Hey, in his defense, he did push a meteor out of the way by sheer force of will, so what's
Yeah.
punching some rocks?
Yeah, I was a glow stick for 3 days afterwards, but we're not going to talk about that.
Athen, did you say you opened your cockpit?
Yeah.
Oh
Okay.
no.
I would like you to make some sort of check regarding strength, as the hangar bay is quickly depressurized as Tavic's launch
alright.
tube opens up, and what is it? Ascendant? Ascendant is
Ascendant.
launched out, leaving
Okay.
a suction as the atmosphere of these launch chambers, which should deploy all at the same time, is being sucked out through Tavic's launch tube. As
Okay.
Tavic ascended.
How would Hull work?
This is for you personally as
okay.
the pilot.
Build trigger. Yeah.
Skill trigger, yeah.
I have take control. I think that's like the best I got though.
Just roll grit.
But
Yeah, I like that.
Which
Just
one,
roll grit.
Which one? Just roll. Oh.
This is
Good one.
reaction. This is strength for holding on.
That was 18.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
You are
I will say though, if it would have been take control, I would have been a 23.
yeah.
So thanks for that, August.
Yeah, right.
Well, you are mid-conversation as the air is actively sucked out of your lungs, and you have to grab a hold of some bar or something in your cockpit as you feel yourself being pulled, sucked out, and you are basically hanging there, horizontal to the plane of the ship as atmosphere is rushing out of the ship down through the launch tube that Ascendant was just blown out from. You can quickly pull yourself back in to your mech, hit the emergency cockpit close button, throw yourself down, and not just catch your breath, but actually find breath at this point. Again,
Can I take a point of damage for that?
another. Yeah, take a point of damage. Go ahead. Thank you. There is yet another blaring alarm on top of a number of other blaring alarms. But your launch tubes didn't launch. There was no announcement for launch. And Tavic's gone.
Trying to raise Tavik on communications. Can I get any direct?
You do not.
Is there a way that we can launch ourselves on purpose, or was this a malfunction?
There are procedures for launching yourselves, but it would start with a "Hey, I'm gonna launch now," and then an imminent
This
launch
is Tavik
alarm.
we're talking
And then,
about.
I mean, Tavik may be reckless sometimes, but I think Tavik is usually pretty good at following protocol.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Tavik is protocol to the T.
It'll be the first time he stormed off. So, but yeah, no, knowing that there wasn't like some kind of announcement in general, we'll be like, okay, something just got fucked up, I guess.
Do the rest of my systems in the mech seem to be working?
Yes.
Okay,
You have communications
I'm
to
trying to get-
everybody else. You just can't seem to get
but
through
not
to
Tavik now. All right, I'm gonna try to get Tavik, and I'm gonna try to initiate a launch.
Okay.
Same.
You go through the procedure to initiate the launch, and the doors do not open.
Okay. Are we are our mechs locked in, or can we move?
You are basically sort of scrunched for everybody but Bite. You're basically scrunched down ready to be fired out of what is essentially a big railgun broadside out the backside of this transport. So you don't have freedom of movement, and you don't really have anywhere to go except to command the sort of crane that put you here to bring you back into the hangar proper. And then you're just stuck in a hangar.
Shit.
Can I crawl up my tube
And
and try to get to where it would open?
You would have to override the clamps that hold you in, and then
That's fine.
override the door controls if it's not a mechanical problem that's causing them to not open in the first place. But yeah, more than anybody else, you're in a position to actually just crawl your way up. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Y'all are gonna see Shiv fucking scuttle
Oh, that's
like a little
terrifying.
freak.
Mhm.
There's a whole new there's a new body movement. Like Shiv in the Everest was very humanoid, very normal. In the goblin suit, it is an instinctual kind of animal-like movement, and so it is
Goblin
a
cat.
scuttle.
Goblin cat. Yep.
Yeah.
Goblin cat. And so yeah, I'm gonna override those hooks, and then I'm gonna see if I can get these doors open to get me out.
Okay. Your actual launch clamps are fairly easy to get through, actually. I'm not going to make you roll for that.
Okay.
But, you know what? You do try. I'm not going to make you roll because the option for success isn't there, actually. It should be relatively simple for somebody as skilled as yourself to just, hack into the door code and tell it to open. And it tries to open. This seems to be a mechanical failure.
Ooh. Okay. Do I think that in this suit I could pry it open? Like, is that an option for me, or do I know that it's too much for me to handle?
It's always an option, but I do believe your particular suit is not well known for its strength, for lack of a better
No.
term.
Yeah.
I do believe that
No.
you suffer penalties on hull checks, which is what this would be.
I think I do. Yeah.
You know who doesn't? This guy. Guess who's stuck at the moment?
Yep.
This guy.
Let's see here.
A lot of frustration
What is this?
coming over comms.
Have we been able to get a hold of Havoc?
No.
No. Jesus. All right.
I forgot I named this one Buddy Jr. Because he's small.
All right.
What's going on here?
Just the little guy.
It's a little guy. Okay, I know I take a penalty to strength checks, but can I try it anyways and
You can.
hope? Okay, I'm gonna try and hope.
I believe in you.
I appreciate that so much. I don't know what I'm gonna do once I get out here. I'm probably not super useful in an asteroid belt, but
Just ride one of them.
yeah, truly. Okay, and then a difficulty is just a D6 that I subtract from my D20.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Throw another point of difficulty on there as well.
No. Okay, well that's not gonna go well. I have to get less because a 10 is a success. I currently have a 14. Oh, snake eyes.
Let's go.
I got a 12.
Let's go.
Ah!
So what did you get?
So I got a 12. So I got a 14 originally, and then minus 2, 12.
Oh, okay. Snake eyes on the difficulty dice. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Interesting. Yes, there is actually a manual release lever, and you have to because you were never going to be able to just rip the doors open.
No.
But any well-designed ship, any door really is going to have a mechanical release unless it's really a tactically secure door, and you're supposed to be launching out of these. So you rip a side panel off, and there's, just this lever that you have to grab and just repeatedly pull and let go, pull and let go, pull and let go, and it slowly wrenches the door open bit by bit. I imagine you only do it just enough before you you instinctually know how big you are in this. You open it up just enough for you to sort of goblin squeeze
Wiggle.
your way out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Freakiest motherfucker.
Tavik,
I'd like to.
Yeah.
you're not sure what just happened. Your head
that makes sense.
hurts. You're not sure if you banged it in whatever just happened, if there was a pressure, sudden pressure differential problem, but your head hurts. You might have a nosebleed, but it's a little hard to check with your helmet on. But you find yourself, well, you're not actually listing in space. You have been thrown quite a bit from the ship, but you seem to have stabilized. And you do see, at this moment, out of one of the launch tubes, in a way I can only describe as the ring girl, goblining her way out the side of the ship.
That's horrifying.
I assume at this point I've tried comms a number of times to no avail.
You don't know. Like I said, you don't think you blacked out. You might have blacked out. You're not sure. Your head hurts.
Okay. I'm gonna try and turn on comms.
Your comms have been disengaged, but they aren't damaged. You can turn them on.
Sure. Yeah. I'm gonna turn them on, and then I guess hopefully everyone will hear. Can I get a sit rep?
And you do.
Yeah, you fucking left. What are you? Ow. Shit.
The hell happened?
If I had the answer to that, I would give it to you.
You're gonna hear some gas from my end and just like, Tavik, if you want to try to fucking kill me, you're gonna have to try a fuckload harder than that.
Blacksmith, if I wanted to kill you, I would have done it already.
The lights in the ship come back on. Power seems to
Wait,
be
did you
restored.
guys see me do the thing? Did you see?
I don't think I'm just staring up a fucking tube. I don't think I can see shit here.
Can't say shit. Yeah, we're
Yes.
stuck in this damn tube.
I'm gonna assume
I'm
it was
moving
cool though.
I'm moving towards where the nightmare is emerging from.
Right.
Okay.
But again,
Lights
on
are
your way
back on.
there, you do see the lights, the viewports on the side of the ship light up. The engines kick on. The rest of you inside, power is restored. Communications are restored. You get over, not the intercom now, but tied back into central communications that, again, seem to be restored. Attention, situation appears to be resolved. Main power restored. Primary functionality restored. Submit damage reports. Submit damage reports. Remain on station. Stand fast.
Do we have any idea what caused this?
No.
Sorry, Command. Just want to point out you've got Blacksmith, Solitaire, and Desperado currently stuck in launch tubes. Disengage us. Get those the fuck out of here. We're having some mechanical trouble here, it seems.
Hold for a moment.
Yeah, I'll catch up with Tavik and just. Yeah, no, we were all sitting there, and everybody else is stuck, but you just just up here. Did you manually launch? I thought there's usually notifications for that kind of thing. What are you doing? Why are you out here?
I can only imagine it is the same issue that caused the rest of the malfunctions. I can't imagine why I would launch out without going through proper protocol.
No hostiles
But
on
you can't-
sensors. Maneuvering capability restored. Standing down from emergency alert. Lancers, you are cleared to
Wait.
return to Hangar Bay.
You can't imagine? Do you not know what you did?
Return.
Did I do something?
Yeah, you fucking left. Do you not
I-
remember?
You ejected from your launch tube.
Yes, I don't. It was not a conscious decision. I think it was a malfunction.
Right.
Okay. So you seeing anything out there that we need to worry about?
Good question. Let's look.
It's a very good question. Yeah, do we?
Those of you still inside, you do have to restart, turn off, turn on the operating system of what's going on here, but you are, then grabbed and moved back into the hangar bay proper. Everything's, properly pressurized. You can lock yourselves down and get out if you would prefer. For the two of you outside, you are floating out in the black. The only thing you notice is you are, still in astronomical degrees, quite far away, but you are just moving past, and I will say, actually, that top priority for you guys will be getting back to the ship, because you were launched at the speed the ship was moving, but because you are going laterally to it, you're gonna slow down, or it's gonna get ahead of you. So you don't have a lot of time to just sit there and float and look around. But you boost back to the ship as it is still trying to decelerate from near sea. You boost back to the ship. You see a quite large, sort of greenish, yellowish gas giant out there that you are just past in astronomical terms. And ahead of you, you do see the asteroid belt stretching out in front of you. But other than that, there's no other ships out here. There's no debris that you can see. Boost your way back to the ship, and I imagine you actually have to sort of latch on to the hull and crawl your way back into the ingress tube. Normally, you're pretty much going to have to hang on for a while until they decelerate enough to actually open the main hangar bay doors, because getting out is easy. They shoot you out a little mag gun on the side of the ship. Getting back in is the more difficult part. So you guys get to latch on for a moment, but as you continue flying through the system, I will say you guys are holding on for hours. We're measuring things in hours here. It takes a long time to decelerate from near light speed. So we don't necessarily need to time skip, but you will be out here for a while, and in that time, you don't see anything terribly unusual. A few times the ship has to do some minor maneuvering adjustments to avoid some asteroids in the belt, but otherwise, once you're clear of that, the ship's hangar bays can open, and you can jump inside. But I imagine we have some things we want to do or discuss in that time.
Oh, for sure. I don't trust my eyeballs. We're facing weird perception monsters. Fuck that shit. Can I
Just
regularly scan with sensors?
Noted. Athen?
I'm going to once we get out of our mechs, I'm just gonna huddle up with Desperado and Solitaire. Just once, can we have a flawless approach? Just one time.
Apparently that's not
not
what we're supposed to have.
It's not my fault this time.
I'm gonna be on comms. No, Shiv, you didn't do that one. I don't think.
Definitely
Start.
didn't.
Is there like a console or something nearby that I can access, Jack?
Sure.
I just want to start, see if I can't pull information, and maybe there was evidence of a solar flare, coronal ejection, something of that nature that could, have some kind of detrimental effect.
Okay.
A random nebula showing up out of nowhere.
Right?
Hey, Desperado. Look, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not the best on like ship systems and stuff like that. But do you think that maybe we can just take a quick look at these launch tubes, see why we got stuck? I feel like you're a little bit more of the engineer here, but I'm more than happy to give you a hand.
Yeah, we can do that. Give me something to do with my hands.
Okay. So, in the course of the next few hours, because these are all sort of long-term things you're looking into, unfortunately for Byte, you can trust your onboard your mech sensors, and this is just part of the mechanics of Lancer. You know where everything is out there. Invisibility and hidden are really just conditions that apply, various effects. But your sensors are good enough at this point that, for the most part, unless something weird is going on, you should trust that you have a decent range. Again, you're only... I know the Goblin has some pretty good sensors, a lot better than other mechs,
20.
but not nearly to the degree that ship sensors would be able to uncover. And as far as the search action, it's only within the first, 5 spaces, which doesn't uncover anything, even if you, climb around the ship for a little bit.
Mhm.
You're not seeing anything new on your various sensors.
Okay. Yeah, that's more just a peace of mind thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And boredom.
Desperado, give me some sort of mechanical engineering check. And
Sure.
Solitaire, give me some sort of scientific knowledge check, if you have such a skill.
Can throw a hacker fix, or I can throw investigate.
I don't think either immediately applies. This is just your understanding of what sort of natural phenomenon might cause what just happened.
Okay, so just a straight.
Yeah.
Cool. I got an 11.
Okay.
15.
Okay. Logan, Desperado. It takes you a while. Because you have to get your suit on, you can climb all the way down the launch tube. It seems that, and actually between Shiv's help and August's help, you can see that the sort of harnessed clamps, that was more of an operating system failure problem. That was a glitch in the programming side of things. That didn't allow you to start the actual ejection process by disengaging those clamps. But it's probably a good thing, because it was indeed a mechanical failure down the launch tube, and you probably don't want to be shot into the hull of a ship at ballistic speeds. Yeah, it's actually fairly simple. The hydraulics were cut on all of your launch tubes.
That's suspicious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our hydraulics were cut.
Like on purpose? Just us?
I wouldn't use cut if it was an accident.
Okay. So, what? We got saboteurs on board?
Rochelle sounds like it.
What the fuck? All right.
Wait, what about Tavix? Were those messed with?
Tavix storage
Look
open
at-
just fine. You can
Hate
see
that.
actually,
Oh.
of course, you start with your own, launch tube doors.
Mhm.
And there's only 8 of you here. I would say a transport ship like this could shoot at least 12 at a time. You check the other ones, and they weren't cut, but yours all were.
Can you check if there was any external command for mine to jettison?
It's a pretty basic systems query for the more program-minded.
Yeah, that's Shiv or August.
Actually, you know what? I say that, and you check the normal route, programming route in which that would happen. You guys can give me a hacker fix there if you think you would dig further than that, because no, it doesn't seem that there was any signal transmitted to for launch sequence, but it launched.
You want me to take a look at that, Logan?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Go ahead and roll me hack fix with a point of difficulty.
With a point of difficulty.
Can I assist? And you
Comes out to a 12.
Okay.
Never mind.
Yeah, unnecessary. Yeah, there was no signal from Ascendant to the ship's computer to tell it to launch. It launched on a timer.
This was set up ahead of time. This thing was on a countdown.
How long was the timer?
And that's already been erased.
Can't tell. They covered that up.
I
That
assume
part's
you can't
gone.
tell who accessed it either.
No.
No.
But this screams somebody wanted you separated from the rest of us for some reason.
Can we tell when the timer was set? Like, not how long the timer was, but like when it was created?
Roll me a d6 just as your assistance on August's check. See if you can bump that 12 up a little more.
4.
Okay, so that's 16. You want to know when the program was installed.
Mm-hmm. Big thoughts. I asked a big thoughts question.
Yeah. It seems to be currently native to the operating system.
Maybe? Well, that's fucking weird.
You know that the ship does routinely make correlative updates with Navy standards, even through near sea distances travel through OmniNet access. So as new things are developed, new codes are developed, tactical stuff and whatnot, they get correlative
Software
updates. They've had 3. They've had 2 in the last 7 years while you were asleep. It could have happened anytime. Yeah.
So this was inserted into the base code and came in with a system update some point while we were in transit. Damn. That's some long-term shit.
That is.
Are there cameras on this ship?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The
Shiv.
thing is, I'm not sure what the point is. Because if they had wanted, well, I mean, put
Right.
it bluntly, if they wanted to kill you, they could have just had your pod sabotaged while we were in cryo.
Yes. And just jettisoning me like this wouldn't kill me unless it was directly into the field, which it clearly wasn't.
Right.
But
I mean-
could you run a quick scan on my system?
Sure. I'll jack into Ascendant.
You have a specific question there, Lion?
If anything has been tampered with or otherwise set to function differently from the initial intent, in a way that may or may not create difficulty after I had been jettisoned. Or now.
Okay.
Yeah, can I look for somebody else's handwriting on the same piece of paper? Like the factory built it a certain way, and therefore it's in one kind of handwriting, but somebody else's code would look different.
Sure. Let's see here. Let me just pull up Ascendant real quick.
Sure.
Just to remind myself of what exactly you have. Yes. Okay. All right. Siobhan, I would like you to roll me 2 hack fixes. One with 1 point of difficulty, and the other with what's the maximum difficulty you can have? I think it's 3 or 4.
I believe
think it's 3.
it is 3, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, we'll say 3 points of difficulty.
Oh my god, okay. So the first one was 1. Jesus, okay. Okay, barely scraping by 11.
On your first one.
My first one. This feels terrible.
Can I potentially assist by shutting down whatever firewalls or safety protocols are in place to prevent people from having access to my system?
I assume you do that.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, this is a lot of math. I rolled really high and then also really low. I don't make it as a 9.
Okay. So, leaving that second roll out into the void, the first roll, you do see, and Tavik, you can quickly confirm with, actual physical observation. Tavik, your fancy Type 3 projected shield, all those different drones you launch off, they're not on. They're not there.
Like the units themselves don't exist currently on the frame.
Correct. The system is registered that they were installed, but they're not there. You're getting it. For lack of a better word, it's like if you cut the cord to a security camera. It recognizes that they should be there, but it's getting no return signal.
Right.
Well, that's sabotage material right there.
It is.
Everyone and their mother knows you like using that thing.
I do. See, I find this very interesting because they don't protect me. So not only was I separated from the rest of you, but my ability to actively shield the rest of the squad was also disabled.
Someone really doesn't like this.
Oh, Tavik, is there anybody that you specifically pissed off lately?
Yes, but I can't imagine this would be a result of that.
Wait, who?
You never know.
I guess I'm going to have to see if I can find some answers and make sure. I don't
I
want to
don't
throw
think
it in.
Lisbeth would be very, murderous.
Wait,
Wait, what?
Oops.
Why would you say something like that?
Run that back one more time.
Ship's gonna, scuttle backwards away from Tavik on the side of the ship. And it's gonna Wiggle my feet.
I'm just gonna let go now. Bye.
Yeah, no, it's really like there was a thought, and then just went. No, I'll just scoot as far away as possible.
Just yeet myself into the void right now.
Yeah.
There's a very loud sigh of frustration over comms.
And a second very loud sigh of frustration and embarrassment over the comms. Because the other 3 Lancers are still tied to comms.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
I was waiting for that. Mm-hmm.
There's a very obvious click on Shiv's end as they disconnect from comms and scream in their mouth.
It's space where no one can hear you scream.
Exactly. Oh, choo choo.
Yes, well. Had Jerry confirmed that you very obviously had nothing to do with this?
No, Tavik and Siobhan, I did not sabotage the ship and try to eject you out into space.
I will
As
say,
expected. Thank you
for
for
what
helping me
it's
cover
worth.
my base.
for what it's worth, I wouldn't blame you for doing it.
Now hardly seems to be the time, Blacksmith.
I mean, I'm sure everybody's thought of it once or twice now.
Yeah, well, we're gonna maybe have some words when you get back. Just so you know, you about sucked all the air out of my lungs, so that was fun.
Wouldn't be the first time I've left you breath.
It almost sounded like flirting.
Damn, that was
Yeah.
good.
It almost sounded like
yeah,
flirting.
you know what? You're gonna hear like some claps.
Oh, good.
That was Tavik. Not only are you flirting, that was a joke. Like
Good one.
What?
you I would give you a high
Solid
five if you would be comfortable with one when you get back, but we'll see what happens. Um,
Man, Blacksmith,
Firm
your
answer.
smolder eyes melted that icy heart.
one. Oh Jesus.
Oh,
Please,
hot jaw.
Was that a
feel
flame
the
gun?
very desperate need to confirm here that that was not flirting.
It was flirting.
I was flirting.
We're just
It's absolutely flirting.
And then you hear another click. Shut up.
Absolutely flirting. Okay. Speaking of which,
Everybody just
I'm gonna
scream.
go. August, can you get into the cams, or do I need to go charm the vids off of somebody in
Looking for a
communication?
specific area.
The ship. Somebody had to do this. Somebody had to do this. So, which means they had to come here to disconnect.
You want several dozen cameras worth of 7 years of footage?
yeah.
It's not like I have anything else to do.
Alright.
While you guys are doing that, I do want to give you a heads up that do you remember when we got back last time and we saw that like riptide thing?
Yeah.
So apparently that's a group that's getting a little bit more popularity, especially back on station. And it's kind of like, think anti-setcom in that like they want us to consolidate back inward, right?
Okay.
So kind of it's like the setcom, instead of expanding, they want to retract, I guess is the best way I can describe it. But I do want to say, and I'm going to do a quick confirmation that it's just our immediate Lancers between the B team and the A team right now that are on comms.
You can isolate from the ship. It would be against protocol, but you're Lancer rocks. You guys do whatever the fuck you want.
I'm going to do that.
Okay.
You don't think there's a chance this could be Riptide agents that are trying to do this, right? Like, here's the thing. Obviously, this was not meant to be deadly, but it does fuck with us. It throws us off of our game. This is psychological warfare, and we're going to defend someplace that's kind of like at the border, on the further reaches of like Union territory.
Just not seeing the I'm not seeing the upside for them to do that. Like, I don't see a goal here.
So this absolutely could have been deadly.
Especially if we were any closer to the asteroids.
This is sophisticated, man. I don't know what to tell you, but this is whoever did this. I mean, to be able to insert a series of commands like that, insert this macro into the base operating system, that ain't easy.
Yeah. And look, the thing is, I'm just throwing out possibilities at the moment. Clearly, we're dealing with sabotage. Could be. I'm just trying to maybe put a face to it.
And
Gotcha.
Jack, you said that the hydraulics for our chutes were cut, correct?
Yes.
Is there any fluid that comes off of those?
Yeah, there's, basic hydraulic fluid. Much more sophisticated and hyper viscous than today's modern hydraulic fluid. I don't even know if hydraulics would still be used 12,000 years in the future, but there is clear mechanical sabotage. We'll say hydraulic. Yeah, there is a clear cut. There is leaking fluid.
What color?
Vaguely reddish, brownish. Almost like a chocolate syrup, diluted, slightly reddish, watery chocolate syrup.
Gross. Oh, and to be clear, B team also had their lines cut, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Any tube that had a mech in it had its lines cut.
Cool.
Except for
Tavik.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll try to work a backdoor in so that you can have access to the cameras and take a look at stuff that you want to take a look at. There's gonna be a whole lot. But
I can make you a
see if I can
scrubber.
work access that you can pull that up. Meanwhile, as soon as you get that thing in here, Tavik, I want to look over your machine there. I want to look over Ascendant, like physically, not just running diagnostics and such. Sound good?
Yes, I will be present for it, but I have no issue with you doing so because I need to know how and why these were removed.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd prefer you were there.
All right. So it looks like we have some, again, long-term activities. Throughout the next few days. Getting the camera footage isn't difficult. Whether you hack or just ask for it, you can get that camera footage. It's many cameras over 7 years. Most of it highly compressed for storage, obviously. It's going through it that is going to be difficult. But just to remind you, Solitaire, you do have a particular friend who might be able to assist you with such a daunting digital task.
I do indeed.
If you don't foresee any problems involving them in whatever is going on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm not gonna make you roll, but Solitaire, Tavik, August, Tavik, you two can get together. Roll a...
Actually, before that, once we've made it back inside.
Yes.
Tavik is going to pointedly look at August and go, "Give me 2 minutes."
All right.
And then turn and go, "Logan, Shiv, can I have a moment?"
Yeah.
And we're going to try and find somewhere that is not right here to have a private conversation.
How private are you looking? Are you talking just the corner of the hangar bay because there's, only the other two of you in here, or are you going to, your quarters?
I think we
Or
can
a
just go to
storage
the
closet.
corner.
Okay. Just head to the corner.
I think we can go to just the corner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I
don't think
included in this or no?
No. Very purposefully, no.
Are you mad because I said the thing? I'm sorry.
Yes, and we will talk about that later, but that's not why we're here.
No. Okay.
So, to make sure I'm understanding correctly, there was a mechanical issue.
Yep. And a programming interference.
I am going to request that this stays a personal conversation for the time being, as I don't know. Because of our last conversation, Logan.
Mm-hmm.
When we woke up, there was
The oil.
Yeah.
The stuff that you
Yes.
really, really badly navigated away from, and unfortunately I did get distracted.
Right.
I hadn't. And Logan will show you whatever rag he used to sop some of it up.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
We should tell the team.
I have
I need-
reservations about having this conversation with Blacksmith. With all due respect, I don't know that he can keep his mouth shut until we can figure out what's going on.
Well, that's vaguely mean.
I mean, neither can Shiv, but
Yeah, when it's actually important things. Okay.
So this was not important. Noted.
If anything, you should have told us because that affects inter-party dynamics.
that's
You
when
cannot-
you got moved over to us.
You cannot create excuses for your mistake. Yes, I do imagine it was.
That's rough. Okay. So we need to, from the looks of it, you were sleepwalking, which doesn't make any sense to me. So I
How
think
would
you
I
need to
get out of
figure. I don't know. Not without someone, I guess, letting you out first.
Which would mean that even if I am somehow involved in this, which I still don't know how that could be possible, I can't be the only one.
Right. Right. So, I do agree with Shiv. We should tell the team. However, we can do some research first. And this means if we have the whole squad, then that means we could ask August to have Kitsune look through the videos.
That's true. We have to make sure that this doesn't get anywhere else in the meantime, because
Right.
especially with everything going on, I'm sure you need to be looking for a very easy way to close this and move forward. I don't see that ending well, and it won't get us any answers.
Right. So, should we have a team meeting? Meeting
So
of squads or just our
let me-
squad?
let me ask for contextualization here. Nobody else knew, and Tavik, you're coming forward revealing that you had this stuff on you when you woke
Yeah,
up.
I do believe that it was
we
noticed
talked
last
about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, Shiv started to mention it, and then Tavik
Yeah.
pivoted really hard, and then we
Mhm.
discussed Athens' weird way of making eyes.
Okay.
Um,
I thought Shiv noticed something, but not that, and then it was so quickly moved on from that nobody knew about this problem. That's how I took it,
That's,
but I could be misremembering. We'll have to go back and watch the
I don't know.
tapes. Regardless,
It's been a week of trash. Been a week
Regardless.
of garbage. I don't know.
there is a clear correlation now between Tavik and the sabotage, and this is an awfully calm conversation to, I guess I was just sleeping and sabotaged the ship.
Well, Havoc is still not acknowledging that it was definitely something that they did. That was something that was put out. But
Yeah.
the statement was, even if that is what happened, which doesn't make sense, then it couldn't have been something that happened alone, which means there was more going on here.
Yeah, I'm under the impression that we're not even really considering Tavik as a suspect, that we're
Okay.
just assuming something happened to him while he was in Gaia.
Mhm.
Sure.
I can try to make a video scrubber. I don't know how to do that about the hydraulic thing, but there's not very many people who should be walking past cryopods all that often, so that might be easier. Yeah. I'm still in the camp of telling you. For the record.
Well, let me say it would move faster with Kasune's help or another such NHP, but you could create just an AI scrubber to go through it. It would go faster with an NHP, but it's still going to take a long time. We're talking weeks here. That's not something. It's not something you're going to get answers on before you touch down on the planet. So the question just becomes: is it sped up because of Kitsune and go measured in weeks as opposed to measured in a few months otherwise? And then the immediate question of if there is yet another team meeting that we need to immediately do. My goal here is that when we get back from break, which we will go on as soon as we are done this context, we will open up touching down on the planet. So is there anything we want to do before then, knowing that you're probably not going to get any answers one way or another for a bit?
Then no, we'll keep it close to our chest.
For now.
Okay.
And then there's another pointed look at Shiv.
Any other long-term projects you would like to set up?
No.
Yeah, I want to, while I'm setting this up, I want to keep a sort of like a Google search alert, but for articles pertaining to, what is it, Riptide? Percy Jackson.
Okay. You just want to get... You just want to subscribe to news services with, keywords Riptide.
Essentially, I guess anything pertaining to more than just like graffiti or unrest. I want to know if something big happens.
Okay.
I do need to do one more thing.
Let me just write down. We got a Riptide info clock. I like clocks. And we have a video scrubber clock.
We've all played Blades in the Dark.
Yeah.
We love clocks.
Tavik.
Yes. There is a moment. So this, while this conversation is happening, there's a moment of sort of spark of thought. And Tavik goes, I need a moment. But I will update you. And then steps away and is immediately going to make a straight line for Athen.
Okay. You turn around and quickly march 20 meters or 10, 15 meters that way.
Storm. Yes?
What about him?
When he says something, when he says he's heard something, how often is it baseless rumor? Is he the sort to just throw around the things that he hears out amid the stars?
Particularly, I mean, the way that we operated in the Circle of Blades was that when it was vital information, then we would get to know.
It depends on what he would consider vital tactical information and what is just galactic gossip. He's very Han Solo that way.
Thank you, Blacksmith. I do have a long-term project.
All right.
I need to start compiling all information that I can about what Harrison Armory's official stance is on where I am, what I've been up to, and what I'm doing, if I'm not just dead.
All right.
I also have question. Do we have Omnia access at the
Yes.
moment or not?
You
Okay.
do, and ideally you should be able to retain it while in the Iniko system.
Okay. I am going to shoot a message back to Dunn because I know that he was starting to look into Riptide members. Just seeing if he can compile a list of people that he knows, and I want to be able to. I just want to like try spending some time seeing if I can verify if any of them might be on our ship.
Okay.
It's just a hunch. It could be coincidence, but I'm just wanting to look.
Okay. Gotcha. Noted. Alright. With that, it is a tense and suspicious atmosphere, especially amongst our group of Lancers here. Maybe not directed at each other, necessarily, though paranoia might creep in the back of your head for those two who know a bit more than the other two. But the mood is definitely soured on the ship. None of this makes any sense. Ship doesn't just shut down. A Navy ship like this doesn't just shut down. And there's a lot of loose ends that are very abruptly cut, not leading anywhere. You can spend the next several days both musing and looking through ship code, looking over your mechs physically, mechanically, looking over the hangar bay. You can create that program, Siobhan, for looking through the cameras. And I imagine everybody sits down and refreshes their firewalls, takes inventory once more, double checks structural integrity. All of these routine maintenance things that you've already done. We want to just make sure, once again. But the ship continues onward, and we are going to... Well, I will move us out into break with this transport ship descending down out of orbit onto the planet Inigo 4. We see sort of shaky camera Battlestar Galactica style as the ship begins to descend, nose slightly pointed upward as flames begin to lick at the underside of it as it hits re-entry speeds, plummeting down in a controlled manner, plummeting down to the very green surface of Iniko 4. And as our ship screeches, flaming through the atmosphere, the camera is going to be swept up in the wind, pivot out into space, and we will see our Starcrier Conflict logo as we fade into our intermission. So, not I imagine, and you guys anticipated the first half of this session to go. But when does it ever? New mysteries, new machinations afoot. And it seems to be tied, maybe not directly, indirectly, tangentially, one way or another, to your squad. To whatever's going on. A lot more questions than answers right now. And you haven't even begun your actual mission operation. So we're gonna take a quick break, probably about 10 minutes or so, get up, do the human thing, do our own quick repairs and whatnot. Enjoy the flashy lights and some fun music. We're gonna have a little word from our sponsor, Veil the Void, a fantastic sci-fantasy game. Go check that out. I had fun putting together that little advert. Yeah, be sure to sit your butts back down here in about 10 minutes or so, because we're going to be moving on from whatever that was, and on to the actual mission of securing Iniko 4, which is going to be, like every other mission, something brand new for our Lancers to experience. The administration and protection of an entire solar system. See you in about 10 minutes, folks.
The Starcrier Conflict is brought to you in part by Veil the Void Reforged. Pierce the veil and adventure through the void as a vampiric alien, a sentient plant, or even a bottled aspect of the cosmos. These and countless other characters can face off against massive cosmic space worms, demons from the Broken Realms, and even travel through the roots of the newly rediscovered world tree of Yggdrasil. Find your next favorite adventure in Veil the Void Reforged. Visit sdgcreatives.com to learn more and pick up your own copy of Veil the Void Reforged today.
Hello, folks. We are back for the second half of tonight's episode of the Starcrier Conflict. It's been a, well, rather unusually busy first half. Things have not gone as our Lancers probably presumed they would, simply approaching their next mission target. What should be a relatively peaceful mission, no confrontation that they know of, no hostiles in the area, no combat that they're walking into, no space pirates taking over a planet. Just go and help make sure that this planet is safe and secure against, potential unknown hostiles, we'll say. But things are never that simple. Just on approach, it seems the ship was sabotaged in a number of different ways, leading to Tavik in his ascendant being jettisoned from the ship, and causing a lot of, well, maybe paranoia, but definitely a lot of questions, and a lot of work for our Lancers to do to try to find answers to those questions. But that will take some time, if those answers ever actually do come. Sometimes things just get lost out in the void of space, and the years and years it takes to travel those distances. But we're not traveling years anymore, we're traveling days, hours, and in fact we last left our Lancers as the transport was descending out of orbit to touch down at Prospera Bay on the planet Iniko 4. And that is where we are going to pick up. So let me actually... we can turn our characters off real quick and take a look at Prospera Bay on our overlay here. And again, cast, I will direct you over to the Securing Iniko journal entry, and there is some information on local environs and resources, and we will get to discussing the bulk of this. I'm a world builder. I wrote a lot for this chapter arc, with probably much more to come. But for a general synopsis of what we see as the transport descends, as our Lancers get ready to disembark, Iniko 4 is a jungle world with a large tropical and subtropical equatorial band. Most of the planet's habitation is located in this region. However, there are colder, less populated landmasses at the northern and southern poles, which house small research and supplementary resource extraction colonies. The planet's capital, and the planet's capital city, is Prospera Bay, as we see on screen, which houses the central planetary government, several corporate headquarters, and a major population. Prospera Bay is located on a saltwater bay and surrounded by steep mountains, which act as a natural defense and keeps most predators away. We'll get into what exactly Iniko 4 is known for, but to put it simply, it is a biomatter production planet. It is most notable in this region for its production of printable food material, because in the Lancer universe, everything is 3D printed, including food, as we've seen from several potatoes being printed already. But all of that is sort of loaded into these printers as the sort of organic slurry, let's say, that is divided out and extruded at a molecular form to create almost anything you would want. Not quite Star Trek energy to matter replicators, food dispensers, but close. So a large production of this organic slurry biomatter for food printing, and also biofuel, which isn't terribly, a lot of things in Lancer use micro cold fusion generators, big stuff, important stuff, cities and starships and mechs and whatnot, probably even vehicles to an extent, but otherwise, I imagine that smaller appliances don't have cold fusion generators in them, and anything, smaller than a large car probably runs off of some combination of electricity, solar power, biofuel, maybe even, depending on where you are in Union and out in Diaspora, some level of fossil fuel, even. But food and biofuel are the two main exports of Iniko 4. And we see as our transport ship descends, once it breaks out of the fiery trajectory of re-entry, breaks down past the clouds, we can see that there are sprawling jungles, thick, dense, luscious green jungles, stretching as far as the eye can see, all surrounding Prospera Bay, which has this vaguely greenish mirror sheen to the water. And we see the city is quite heavily built up on a number of piers, built underneath and even to an extent within some of the surrounding mountains, which act as that natural barrier. But our transport ship, full of our personnel and most notably our Lancers, touches down at the flight port at Prospera Bay. And you all can disembark. The personnel hangar bay doors open up. You can walk off of the ramp, and the first thing you notice is it is muggy. Tropics, jungle. It is humid. Not terribly hot, but humid. You almost immediately break into a sweat. Whether it's a sweat or it's simply the condensation of jungle moisture on your skin. But for the first time, maybe ever, your senses, most notably your nose, your sense of smell is filled with the smell of nature. Smell of a jungle. Smell of rain and dew and leaves and soil. You're still quite far away from that. I didn't drop you in the jungle. You're on a pier somewhere, big city. But this is a jungle planet. This is a world that is lush and greener than I think any that you have been on. Any of you Lancers have been on before. Perhaps.
So, August, that ramp comes down, the doors open and stuff, and he basically stops at the edge there at the top of the ramp. And he's just looking into the distance. It's pretty easy to tell he's looking not at the city, he's looking past what he can see of that jungle. And he just kind of stops there, and he's real deep breaths, like he's just sucking it in, and he just pauses there for a minute and kind of closes his eyes, and he looks really relaxed.
Then it'll be super fun to have Logan be the one to come up next, because he has the adverse reaction to this, because he's from a desert planet and the air is wet and he doesn't like that.
Wet.
So he takes that first breath, goes, "Oh, this is
Oh, you
Mask
smell
comes
that,
out.
Logan? You smell that? It's the
How
most amazing thing.
are you breathing that?"
I ain't been on a planet like this since I was 8 years old.
Well, listen,
Of
my
course.
congratulations on getting away.
No, I loved it there, man. Of course, you had to have filters and all that kind of stuff there because the air was a little bit more toxic and such, but still, there's just something about all the damn trees and moss and vines. Just the air is just so thick and heavy, and it's comforting and makes you feel good.
You maybe. It's like The helm comes on.
Shiv is gonna pat Logan's shoulder and just go, "Don't worry, Bear isn't actually trying to."
I don't know if I believe you.
Just out here, are we in our armor when we're going down, by the way? Or are we like in more like casual garb?
There's no reason for you to be in suits.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine. Come on, desert boy. Let's see if we can't find you something good to eat.
Well, you say that.
I'm in my suit. Fuck that.
All right.
There's
Everybody
climate
else-
control in our suits.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
right.
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I think Tavik's the last one off the ship. Clearly distracted, clearly stressed. Just sort of looking out at all this, which is so different from anything he's really personally encountered, because anytime he's been planetside for anything is usually for either business and isn't out in lush nature anything, or because they were actively piloting and blowing things up. And this is neither of those things. And I think there's a almost frustration about not being able to take a moment and sort of enjoy this, and then a frustration about wanting to enjoy this. And he tries to sort of check himself. And then he reaches up again to the pocket. And then he makes this sort of tight squeezing motion with his hand, as though he's expecting something to come of it, and nothing does. And then he sort of shakes his head, and then they move forward.
All right.
No suit,
Well.
no stems.
As you all are having very different reactions to this planetfall, begin walking your way down the dock here, down the pier, towards the actual spaceport building itself. You are intercepted, actually, by a very quick-moving young woman. I say young woman, probably, late 20s, mid 30s, approximately, in appearance at least. Moving very quickly, has a sort of big portfolio folder thing in one arm, and is decked out in the standard Union light gray drab Union administrative uniform. A small little sci-fi beret cap with the Union 3rd Com insignia on it, quickly moving to intercept the 8 of you. Again, the 5 of you and the 3 from the other squad, Hajiri, Lich, and Hotjaw. Who's sort of tip of the spear, as it were?
Oh, August.
All right. This woman quickly walks straight up to you, juts a hand out, very excitedly.
Well, hello there.
Grabs your hand in the handshake with the other hand, very excitedly, sort of shakes your hand. Yes, hello. Union Administrative Liaison Chexi Hagnes here. You are our Union Navy advisors? We've been waiting for your arrival.
Yes, that is correct.
Good. Excellent. We have you meeting with the Provisional Council now we can have she sort of looks around real quick and sort of jumps up a little bit and waves to somebody a ways away who doesn't notice, and then she turns and waves to somebody else a ways away and motions them over. We'll make sure to have all of your stuff brought to appropriate commendations. However, it was requested that we begin your planetary briefing and meeting with the actual council, as it were, to get this all started. I'm sure you've been briefed on approach.
We have.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
hello,
what's your name again?
the rest of you. Chexi Hagnes. Chexi Hagnes. She goes and
Chexi
excitedly
Hagnes.
shakes
All right.
everyone's hand who
Okay. All right, Chexy, I'm going to need you to take a breath just a second.
Yes.
All right, who the hell are we talking to?
Oh, sorry. Union Administrative Liaison, Chexy Hagness.
No, who you want us to go talk to?
Oh, right. Yes, there's a sort of let's say provisional council of governing interests. Let's say technically, Union administrative governorship is still active, and there hasn't been any sort of like coup or anything crazy like that. But there's been some developments on planet with everything that has been happening, and there's interested parties who have come together to express their concerns about how the planet develops and procedures and whatnot, and then there's the whole fleet captain thing. So that's who you'll be meeting with. I have a dossier here. Actually, let's make sure you're all connected to the local OmniNet grid, and I can get all the relevant information sent over.
I'm actually, so I've been like pulling up a pad looking at our briefing dossier, especially when it comes to some of the like locals and we have this information, correct? When it comes to like who the green sheets are and stuff.
Not yet. That is what she is saying she is going to send to you right now.
We were waiting for the dossiers here.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So
Right.
Unless otherwise said, she is quickly she doesn't turn around and take off, but she does sort of like fall in line with you guys and start like trying to usher you to probably faster than you leisurely walk, into the spaceport and down into town. But as you're moving, she does go over and make sure you're all connected to the local OmniNet grid. Very simple
Jackson, is
procedure.
anybody dying right now?
I could check. I don't think so. I mean, planet this size probably, but I mean, not anybody I know of. Why?
Okay. Well, let's just slow down for 2 seconds, and we ain't got to rush now.
Right.
So, what's your take on this whole group of folks that we're supposed to be meeting with?
Oh, here you are. She sort of flips open this big tablet thing and starts poking around buttons, and you all get blips on your pad. And basically you get the factional dossiers I wrote in this journal, as well as local environs and resources.
That's all well and good. I want your opinion.
Right. Well, okay. It's I have to say I've been, well, she does actually stop here. Like, she does actually physically stop walking. And you guys probably take a couple steps forward before you realize she stopped walking. And it looks like she's chewing over her words for a moment. It is. Well, it's very fortunate that you're here. I mean, very fortunate might be a bit of a stretch, really. There's just been some developments in planet-side, system-wide. I mean, nothing crazy, as I said. Just a highly irregular governmental administrative, governance for me. So it's been a while since we've had actual union representatives on planet. Since hearing word of whatever is going on out there right now, which we should talk about. I believe you've been in transit for what, 5, 6, 10 years, somewhere around there.
7 years.
Seven years.
You were so close.
It's been about that long. Just developments here or there. Some of the corporations have their particular opinions on the direction of the planet. The fleet captain arrived ahead of the fleet, obviously, and that's been a bit of a.
Are they giving you trouble?
No, not trouble. No, it's just a bit of a difference in culture, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're assholes. You can say.
And I mean, she's not that bad. She just has a very different way of thinking, communicating, acting, prioritizing.
Yeah, we're familiar with the way that they operate.
Oh, good. That should save some awkward getting to know you time.
Yeah.
Sure,
Well,
we'll go with
alright,
that.
Let's suppose we ought to get going then.
Okay.
I suppose.
I suppose we can walk and talk now. I sent you the dossiers of everyone you should be meeting with here. It's a small council again. Theoretically, I'm in charge of the planet, but it's been a bit of a development in the past 5 years or so, especially the last year or so. Things have been getting a little much. So as loath as I am to admit, it's probably helpful that we have additional union representatives. Though you're not sort of looks you all up and down, clearly lacking either administrative uniforms or Navy officer uniforms. You are.
You're right. We're not.
Right. And that's right.
Yeah,
There's not anyone
auxiliary.
else. Not to be rude. There's not anyone. Okay. Lancer Rocks. I mean, very very highly skilled from what I understand. More small Unix tactics than necessarily planetary governance. But we'll make it work.
Well, look, I will say, for what it's worth, a couple of us do have some know-how of bureaucracy and making that all work. We've all survived hardships. I'm sure that we can translate some of that into administrative work.
Oh, of course. I'm sure you all have your expertise. I've looked over your general dossiers and whatnot. Harrison, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Harrison. She walks over and grabs your hand and shakes your hand again.
Yes. A pleasure to meet you as well. Rest assured that we all come with our own unique points of view and exceptional skills that will allow us to do our best to provide the aid, support, and oversight that you require.
Right. Well said. Okay. Well, I suppose brief summary. She does sort of inhale deeply and slow down a little bit. Yes. Okay. So, aside from actual union governance as it is supposed to be governing, and really is, actually currently governing, there's three main, let's say, political parties that have developed in the time, mostly over the past couple of years, past year and a half. The fleet captain's arrival sort of, let's say, galvanized differences of opinion. So as there is, and again, it's still very much in development. Everything's sort of developing situation at the moment. But of course, there's union. There's it seems you're in some way familiar with the Hawkwood company, so I can more or less I suppose move on from that. But a lot of very interesting information about out in the diaspora. They clearly have a grasp on. I wouldn't say clearly. They have a grasp on what might be happening out there. They have a grasp on what is happening out there, but they're not exactly forthcoming, to the point of I'm not really sure if they know or not exactly what's going on out there, but they definitely have ideas about how to manage that. But as far as I'm aware, they are what is their title? Provisionary Defense Fleet Specialist, Coordinator, Provisional Defense Coordinator. not officially a governing, administrative position, but let's say military advisor and head of the defense fleet. I'm sure you are all here to provide your own, I suppose, much more. Well, narrow in the sense of opposite of broad, expertise into, I suppose the more tactical strategy sort of minded stuff. And I know you said you all have your own administrative backgrounds. Moving on for that, I'll introduce you to Fleet Captain Baboros when we get there. She's not as bad as she originally comes off. Then there's the green sheets. That is a sort of, let's say, syndicate's not the right word. That has very negative connotations. Consortium, we'll say, corporate consortium. It's mostly Galactic Roots, Agricorp, and Slide Biofuel, the two main corporations here on the planet. Though there are a few smaller groups, subsidiaries of theirs, and independent smaller corporations that have joined onto this. They seem to represent a more corporate-minded approach to the governance and projection of the planet. Of course, still within Union guidelines, but it definitely seems to be more on the side of really turning this into a sort of corporate world as opposed to a general Union membership world. So I sent you over dossiers on that, and I'll introduce you to everybody involved as best as I understand them. There are two representatives of that sort of Green Sheets council within inside a council. Gets to a lot of voices in the room, but two interesting individuals who aren't native here to Iniko and seem to be representing other aligned interests with the Green Sheets. So that's the Green Sheets, basically, corporate interests. And then she stops and sort of looks away, rubs the back of her neck in kind of frustration and maybe even a little embarrassment. There have been a few very, very, very loyal Union members who have sort of taken disagreement in, well, how things have fractured at the moment with the Hawkwoods and the Green Sheets and all that, and are say musing independence. Still very much Union pillars and Union membership world. There hasn't really been any actual talk of independence or leaving the Union. I mean, nothing keeps a population in Union. But they just seem a bit concerned about different interests running away with things.
That was all very diplomatic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Seems like we got a lot of people to talk to.
Seems like it.
Yes. Well.
Yes.
I will say I do have a very immediate pressing question. In terms of where we are going to be living while we're here, where are we set up?
We'll get you set up. I'll make sure everybody's nearby.
Okay.
We have there is a small local defense force barracks, but we're not gonna put you up there, and you're probably gonna be here for a while, I imagine. I think the defense fleet is scheduled to arrive somewhere between the next 6 to 10 months.
Right.
So you'll be here a while. We've set aside a few residents for you all.
Thank you.
What amenities we can provide? We're not a core world, but we try our best.
world is
Um,
beautiful.
You're
That's why
already
I
one
think-
step ahead because we won't have to worry about shifting where we're staying for the time being.
No, you shouldn't. I don't think so. I mean, I guess it depends on, if you need to travel to other cities and colonies and whatnot. But no, it should be. We have a place for you. Well, council meeting.
Yep.
She says with
Council meeting.
a break in her sort of excitable nature into a sort of sigh of. So you are led into the actual Capitol building here at Prospera Bay. I imagine you actually get into a ground car and travel through the city. And it is a very nice city. It's a very interesting blend of course, futuristic architecture blended with nature. You're built out over the water. You're not in the jungle itself, so it's not really incorporating trees and whatnot. It's not a sci-fi elven city or anything, but there's a lot of sort of organic swooping geometry to the buildings here. There's a lot of focus on natural light and natural airflow. They make sure to maintain several small parks as you go around and just keep the area as vibrant and as foliaged as you can with a population center as large as this. And you can smell the sea breeze in the air. You can see as you drive down, there's an actual dock for actual water navy vessels, as well as other water-based transport, fishing ships and whatnot, recreational piers. This, as she said, it's not a core world, but it is definitely one of the more built up, populated, prosperous, sort of secondary worlds that you've been to. Not that I imagine many of you have been to many of them. But you make your way down into essentially downtown and to the Union Central Administrative Building. And it is likewise this sort of swooping, almost leaf-like plumage facade to it before it splits out underneath into a similar, almost sort of like concave to a point bowl over top of this sort of sweeping, very light, again, as Union, light gray, whites, darker accents here or there. And you are brought up the steps, brought inside the big swoosh double doors, and can head down a few different winding corridors and into well, it's not like a Senate council chamber that is huge and tiered, and it's not Coruscant. But you are brought into a sort of round table room, let's say. And inside there are several individuals, actually. The council meeting seems to have already been called. Whether it was called for your arrival, whether it's been in session, you're not exactly sure. But there's a number of people sort of standing, sitting, milling around this sort of central table. Sleek, flat, shiny, black workstation table. There's a few terminals attached to various edges of it, and a large projector in the center that's capable of projecting different things. Right now it just has a general slowly spinning projection of Iniko 4. The doors open up and you are brought inside, and Union Administrative Liaison Chexi Hagnis will introduce you all to the council here. She steps inside. Not everybody, but most everybody here will turn their head, see her, see you, then go back to the conversations and work they were doing. And she sort of, puffs out her chest a little bit and clears her throat. These are the Union administrative and Navy specialists that have been sent, to advise us on planetary defense and administration and the upcoming securement operation, as I believe they are running off of. She motions for the 8 of you to take a seat. It's a large room, lots of seats, not all of them at the table itself. And we can go down the line. She introduces each of you as you walk past and sit down. Not so much in the gala grand presentation, but this is we can skip all of that as you sit down, take your seats, and let's continue on with it today. But I will, for next week, have actual, not character art, but hero forge of these individuals, so we can see who we are working with, because we'll probably be interacting with them for some time. But she will introduce, sort of going around the table, first with the it doesn't really have a title or anything, but Mr. Michello Corrigan, the leader of what has been deemed, what's being called, at least by Chexy herself, as the Union Loyal Independents. And Michello is an elderly gentleman, quite visibly elderly gentleman, which means he is probably quite old, pushing the latter end of his second century. He's quite old, very long beard, gray in the hair, gray beard, gray hair, sort of past shoulder length, really well kept. And wearing, fairly nice, but not overly ostentatious, not overly expensive looking, let's say robes, but sci-fi robes, not evil cultist robes, before anybody goes there. But just sort of nice flowing breathing sort of tunic style, sort of long tunic robe sort of ensemble. And Michello Corrigan is an elderly gentleman with ties to the colony's original founders, which goes back quite a bit. He is not an original founder by any means. He's not that old, but ties to the colony's original founders. He and his family have personally left their mark on much of the infrastructure and cultural development of Iniko 4, and even some of the resources beyond. He sees Iniko and all the turmoil its people have suffered as payment enough to oversee an independent world. Either within Union as normal, but administration by the people, of course, as it pretty much has already been, or if necessary, if Union continues to drag its feet, if these other factions get their way, might push for independence. I suppose I should let you guys look over the actual dossiers yourself. Chexy wouldn't be announcing any of this, but she introduces Michello Corrigan, the leader of Union Loyalist faction. Then there is the Green Sheets. She moves over to Argo Ha-Amel. Ha-Amel being the first name, the given name, Argo being their surname. They are they're a robot. actually, at least they look like a robot. You will see in your dossier that Ha-Amel is a rather enigmatic individual and is rarely, and not for a long time, actually seen in person. They use a quite advanced custom anthro-drone for these meetings. Mostly realistic human facsimile that is operated via local Omninet telepresence. Basically, Data from TNG has that skin that is too uniform, maybe a little bit too pale, eyes that are vaguely a natural color, but not quite. There's not the same, I don't know, spark of life in them, even, maybe. It's hard to put your finger on. But everything about them is just a little too manicured, a little too uniform. That's Ha-Amel. We can get more information on him just to get through the council. We can move on to Mr. Eridux Slide, CEO and relatively young inheritor of Slide Biofuel. A man who is probably about the same age as Chexy here, though has a notably different persona to him. Much more, I would definitely not say stoic, but there is a, at this moment, calm, almost even, nose upturned demeanor to him. We'll learn more about him, but young for a CEO. He has this sort of swept up blonde hair, stark white sort of overcoat that he is wearing. Very sporty business casual, we'll say. In fact, he probably actually has his feet kicked up on the desk at the moment as he sort of spins in his chair and gives you a sort of half two-finger salute in your direction. Moving on, there is the Joint Labor Workers representative, Mrs. Kifa Bartlett. She's a working woman, factory woman, stout and sturdy, if that is not rude to say, but short, broad, healthy eater, works out. Definitely manual labor.
She thick.
She thick, yes.
Oh, I like her.
Yes.
Easy peasy.
She
Careful
is...
there, Athen. He said Mrs.
You can see the targets in Athens, huh?
It's the smolder activated. There you
Yo,
go.
I just left somebody, all right? Chill.
Yeah, so you'd be straight up for this.
Yeah.
We know.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You've been single for 7 years.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is technically
That's
true.
a great point.
Yes, she is. She looks like your average, old-time union leader. Not like modern union leaders that are basically, also just corporate, but like going back, IRL, real beginning of unions, union leader, a people for the people, worker of the workers sort of woman. She's not in a suit. She's not in some big fancy dress or anything. She's in probably the same sort of bright cargo slacks that she wears on the job. She does give you a big beaming smile and says hello as she is introduced. And then, without any additional context, there are two more of the green sheets that you are introduced to. A Mr. Shalad Erson, another elderly man, though in stark contrast to Mr. Corrigan we've met before. He has that very creepy old librarian vibe to him. Very straight-backed, very thin, very pale. He has very short cropped, the Picard hair that just sort of wraps around a bald spot on top. Clean shaven, but very, I don't want to say gaunt features, but very sharp features to him. And he does have those glasses that just rest at the tip of your nose.
Those are
Morpheus
so
glasses.
weird.
Yes.
Those fuck me up. How do they stay there? How does that work?
He is
They pinched his nose.
impeccably dressed.
I used to have a pair of those.
He is impeccably dressed. Well-pressed slacks, well-pressed suit, but very little color, very monotone. It just wearing different shades of gray that just accent it enough to make it to make it look like very high quality, fashionable, vaguely business wear, but it is all just various shades of black and gray. In a very nice sort of herringbone black and gray vest and a bow tie. Stands there, and you think maybe he does a very subtle nod in your direction, but you're not even sure he did that. He just turns and otherwise just looks in your general direction, staring down through those tinted, and very much staring down through those tinted Morpheus glasses. But again, no context as to who he might be. And in stark contrast, you are also introduced to Lady Menelae Casminoble, who is very ostentatiously dressed. Anybody even vaguely familiar with galactic politics can spot a Karakin when you see one, because they have big fancy hats and big poofy dresses. Very sci-fi Victorian, with maybe a little flair taken from other contemporary cultures and boosted up 12,000 years. But she is very well dressed. A lot of white, a stark white, a lot of greens of various shades, very lush, very expensive looking greens, very expensive looking fabrics, different tassels and veils and chains, and medals even adorn her attire, and a very big, very fancy hat that stands up very tall, and it looks like her hair is actually gathered up through the hat and comes out the top and drapes down the back. Again, though, not much context provided, except she's very clearly Karakin.
You said Casminoble?
I did. Lady Menelae Casminoble.
Mm-hmm. And what was the guy I met? What was his last name?
It might have been Casminoble.
I feel like that was the case.
Sounds familiar.
Okay.
And then finally, standing behind a chair, almost at the opposite head of the table, there is Fleet Captain Tiana Baboros, standing tall, straight-backed, armed clasped behind her back in a very military uniform. And in contrast to the Commodore, who you originally met in much more relaxed fatigues, she is very much in proper officer, what's the word I'm looking for? Not ceremonial. When Picard puts on the dress, what am I looking for? Administrative uniform, ceremonial uniform. I don't remember. But she has all the medals on. She has the epaulets on. It's a folded over military coat as opposed to just sort of a fatigue-like button-up or whatnot.
It's a dress uniform.
Dress uniform. That's what we're looking for. She is in full dress uniform. And we will see representations of all of these individuals next week. But standing around this table, we have all of these individuals, and there are quite a few of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus Chexy, 8, and then you 8. So it's a crowded room. And I think, because it's already almost 10 o'clock, and that was a lot of exposition, we are going to fade as everybody takes their seat, and the hologram at the center of the table zooms out from the display of Iniko for itself to the entirety of the Iniko system. We see the star, Iniko itself, and 7 other planets, 8 other planets. Very quick check. It is... Where are you at? Environs? It should be environs. Yeah, 8 planets in total, including Iniko 4, in which you are on, and an asteroid belt. And you can see there are a few different stations here or there. There is actually, and you note it at this point, there is actually 3 different sort of equidistant belter stations situated just outside proximal, distal, and from the star of the asteroid belt. Different buoy stations, basically. It seems, though, your ship was dark when they should have been contacted by them. Huh. And also a deuterium mining station, mining and fueling station that orbits around the large gas giant that you saw on your way in. And we'll sit down, the system slowly orbiting in the hologram above this sleek, shiny black table. And on your pads or on the workstations in front of you, start popping up a list. A list of problems, concerns, well, decisions that you need to make. And as that sets in, you can all look around at each other across the table. We'll zoom out from this conference room as the doors closed. The Starcrier Conflict. So, I know the first half was a lot, and the second half was also a lot, but a lot of exposition, and a lot of Chexy. Man, she has a lot more energy than even I originally planned. But a lot of exposition, and more to come, lots of information. I will leave you guys, the players, to peruse everything in the journal here, because it's a lot of information that we haven't gone over. A lot of this will probably be covered, but some of it won't, because it's just a collective information, so you can look over that. And for supporters of the channel, I will be posting all of this on our Discord, so you can learn about these different factions, and you can check out the dossiers of these faction leaders. And next week we will even have Hero Forge representations of these very important people. And as things crop up, yes.
If I may, really quick, this dossier is really freaking cool.
It's
Like,
so cool.
I just want to point out, like, I'm not used to being on like the receiving end of getting this kind of stuff. This is freaking cool. You're gonna want to check it out.
There's so much stuff in it.
This is my jam.
It's really cool.
I'm a world builder GM. I love this stuff. So if you love this stuff, and you've enjoyed the show, you would like to support the show, like to see us up the production quality, bring in new actors, potentially new writers, new musicians, new artists, really working with the indie TTRPG community, helping me up the production value of this show and just expanding it into well, I mean, I think we've said it. What is it? 3 seasons in a movie? We'll see.
Whoop, whoop.
But you can head over to our Ko-Fi. You can scroll down. There's links to press. There's buttons and whatnot. You can head over to our Ko-Fi, and there's some fun after shows up there where you can get behind the scenes insights. There's some of my notes up there, and there will be these dossiers, both on the planets, the local resources and stations, and the people. So if you have the money and you're so inclined, head over to Ko-Fi, or drop a couple bucks in the Mayhem meter and help me support these wonderful people, who I may have accidentally traumatized in the first half of this little storyline here.
And maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe?
I'm worried you guys are just getting used to it at this point.
I mean, you just,
No.
turned on the whole paranoia switch for everybody.
Yeah,
I don't know about y'all, but I get spooked every time.
I like to.
The mountain spook.
We might have a little we're gonna have a little conversation, whether or not it's now a recorded after show, we'll see. But that is tonight's episode of the Starcrier Conflict, and I had a lot of fun. Let me pass it over to these folks, who I hope also had a lot of fun, to tell us more about them and where you can find them having even more fun throughout the week. Take it away.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been playing August Walker, he, him, all around there, and I always have a lot of fun here. For the rest of this month, basically the only place you're going to find me is right here. Coming back next month, I'll be getting back into some other stuff, but for right now, here on Sundays, that's about it. You can find me on Blue Sky, Rise, R-I-Z-E, or you can find me on Instagram at Raven Black Photography, though life has been super busy lately, so I haven't really had a chance to really actually go and do anything. But hopefully that will change soon. So other than that, yeah, I'll see you back here next Sunday.
Oh. Hey, howdy, bye. My name is Haley. I go by they, them, and Shiv goes by she, they. I had a blast being spooked and questioning my own knowledge of what the fuck's going on. It's great. Love that. But yeah, you can find me at Haley Ann on most things, and now, very excitingly, Caltrop Chronicles, which is at CaltropChron on Twitter and Instagram. We're very excited. We have produced our very first series, Misconnections, using the City of Mist TTRPG. It is premiering tomorrow at 7 p.m. PST on YouTube and Spotify. So catch us there. It is myself and Q and a couple of other buds. We're very excited.
It's me turn. Hi, I'm Q. I was playing Logan Uhura. Desperado, we're both he, him. He, himbo, if you're nasty. No, he's too smart for he, himbo. I'm sorry. I lied to you right there. Anyway, when you don't see me here, just being a menace, you can find me over in the internet at Midnight Inc. That's Midnight_INQ. Q is my name. I'm sure you get it. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. I keep making cowboys. My character for Misconnections is not actually a cowboy. So, but he is a lot of fun. So check. I know it's a shock. It's okay. He's still a good time. He's actually more like Haley's. He's my chaos gremlin. He's my chaos gremlin.
I mean, that's your.
It was actually really startling when Q came in and wasn't using the funny kind of slow cowboy voice. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
What is happening? Yeah, no,
wild.
Definitely not. And then on Tuesday, you can see me over at Live from the Apocalypse, where I'm going to be playing. That's going to be a cowboy. That's Nephilim Tenebris. I'm playing Captain Cassidy Starrunner, who had his worldview shattered because his hero didn't use math. You'll figure that out. It's fine. Yeah, that's just what we've got going on next. I'm also part of the team for Tales from Tape Studios, part of the production staff. We got things and also stuff because of reasons. Be on the lookout.
Hi, I'm Andrew. I've been playing Intermission. It is he, hims all around, call sign blacksmith. Also got a little spooked, a little frustrated. I didn't get shot into space, but we got Tavik taking my breath away, and not in a good way. I'm that gamer Ajax on all the socials. I'm primarily focused on Threads these days. It's where I've been having the most fun. At the moment, things have slowed down on my YouTube channel a little bit. My rhythm has been thrown off there, but I'm working on trying to get back to it. I just have a lot of musings regarding tabletop stuff. So that is first impressions on new systems. I wanted to help people become the best tabletop enthusiasts they can be. So it's a lot of like new game systems, how to play them, my impressions on them, tips and tricks, guides, stuff like that. I will say that if you check me out on Threads, I'm currently doing RPG a day for 2024. It's been really fun. There are daily prompts. So it's a lot of musings from my experiences in the tabletop space. Let's see, today's example was systems that have good one-shots or are supported by good one-shots. Cyberpunk Red. I'm just going to put that out there. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Lion.
Hey, y'all, it's Drake Lionheart. Most people call me Lion. I use they, he pronouns, and I am the creative director from Tales from the Table Studios. Something that started as a charity event has grown into an actual play studio and an amazing community of storytellers, players, world builders, game designers, and more. We've got a couple things in the works behind the scenes right now. I know we keep saying that, but we really want to make sure that what we're doing next is going to be really exciting, come out really well. We're going to hopefully have something to talk about in the next couple of weeks. We'll see. Yeah, I'm also a game designer. I have a module out called One-Nighted Ollies, and in a couple of months we'll be releasing One-Nighted Ollies 2, a Kids on Bikes module inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's. Sorry, my brain is mush. And a quick two-player, one-page RPG, Poison Rationality Closing the Goddamn Door, for when you and your partner have some stuff to work out. It's great. It's a good time. I also run games. I'm a professional game master. You can hire me over on Start Playing, or you can find me on my socials at TheLionKnight42 across all platforms. So you can hire me to run games for your friends or to write games for you. Either one is cool, and I'm down for both. Today I have had the pleasure of being John Tavik Crichton Vasier Harrison IV, call sign Starblood. Everyone's favorite sad boy, I guess. We'll see. That's me.
We will see. Or we won't. We'll see.
Or we won't.
Or we won't. Yeah, or we won't. Anyway, I've been Jack. I've been pulling all the strings in the background, writing all the machinations, and I really need to get a corkboard and a whole lot of strings, because there is a lot of stuff to track in the Starcrier Conflict. I've had a lot of fun, and if you've stuck around to this point, I have a fun little announcement. This Thursday, we're starting a new mini-series here on RPGs Uncovered. We will be playing A Quiet Year. It's going to be a 2-shot, 3-shot, we'll see how long it takes. But the fun, interesting little tidbit is, it's going to be A Quiet Year on Iniko 4. Crossover time. So, this Thursday, next Thursday, and maybe the one after that, we will be building Iniko 4 right alongside our Lancers. So we will see how the world develops in the year or so that our Lancers are here. We will see how these factions change. We will see what new developments there are, positive, negative, and if you're familiar with the Quiet Year, well, there's always a reason for that year to end. So we'll see what that is as well. So if you want to see more of a sort of side tangent, it's not going to be necessary reading material by any means, but just a fun little sort of tangential mini-series associated with what is going on here. We'll reference our show in that, we'll reference that show in the upcoming episodes of the Starcrier Conflict, but if you're interested in that, you can come hang out with us on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here for A Quiet Year on Iniko 4. Real excited for that. It's going to be me and my chums from Behind These Eyes, who previously we did the Baldur's Gate 3 sort of let's actual play fun role-playing adventure through Baldur's Gate 3, but something entirely different. We're moving on to A Quiet Year on Iniko 4. Real excited for that. Wonderful people, wonderful world builders and GMs on top of myself. So it is going to be 4 world builders building a world live. Come hang out. It's going to be a real fun time. I am so super excited. On top of that, you will also be able to find me this Friday over on the Lost Caravan, playing some Call of Cthulhu for charity, which is really fun. I am really looking forward to it. Fantastic group of people that I get to work with, several I've played with before, and some new faces I am excited to play with again, for the first time. They will be, I'm just there as a player, they will be collecting for the Palestine Child's Relief Fund. Very important right now, great charity, and a great game. They're having their whole Caravan of Cthulhu week this week. A number of episodes have already aired. There's a little Cthulhu mini-series that's been going on. I don't know if that's still ongoing or if they had their last episode today. I'm not sure. There's a lot of really fun programs going on over there during the Caravan of Cthulhu, and this upcoming Friday at 8 p.m. is the one I'm on. The Derelict, a ship trying to find the Northwest Passage, and anyone familiar with history knows that doesn't go well. And ship crews are very often lost, while the ships themselves, with all hands. What could cause that? We'll see this Friday over on the Lost Caravan at 8 p.m. Come have fun. I'm going to be a grumpy, crotchety old man. It's going to be great. That is all I have for you. Go check out the Ko-Fi. Stay tuned for next week. Oh, podcast. Debbie was a whole thing. She was a lot to handle, Hurricane Debbie, and there was some medical complications in the family, so I must apologize. The latest episode of the podcast is not out yet, but knock on wood, it will be out this Wednesday because it's a real fun episode. They're all real fun episodes. I'm having a lot of fun with sound design. It's a great time. So a little bit late, 2 weeks late. Not great, I admit. But we should have another episode of the Starcrier podcast coming out soon. So if you haven't seen that and you would like to listen to the beginning of our Starcrier series here, listen with your earballs, you can head over to Spotify and just search the Starcrier Conflict. It should pop right on up. And more episodes to come, hopefully, regularly. Go check that out. Come hang out on socials at RPGs Uncovered pretty much everywhere, but I'm pretty much bouncing between Twitter and Threads. And we have our Discord. Ko-Fi. That's all. That's all the checkboxes. As always, everybody stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, keep having fun, keep checking back here at RPGs Uncovered for more of the Starcrier Conflict and tangentially related shows, perhaps. And when you sit down meeting a whole bunch of really eclectic people with very, very differing thoughts on how an entire solar system should be administered, might be helpful to have a spread of heart tomatoes to help ease the tension. It always helps. Happy time zone, folks. Take care.